Hi, my name is Karen Holmes. I'm the founder and director of the World Peace Organization for the One World Government. A revolution is going on now in the United States. Actually, it's going on all the way around the world. What's happening is there are, as I said before, there are three different choices that we're facing right now as mankind starts to evolve. We have always three choices. One is to go up and to function on a higher level. One is to go down and into the power games. And the other one is to go straight ahead and to ignore the crisis and to pass it on to future generations. The vast majority of people at any period of time are always ignoring the crisis and passing them on to future generations. That's where we are right now. And the reason for it is because people turn over responsibility to the government to solve the problems. Government was never meant to do that. It was meant to handle the things that people couldn't handle. And then it's our responsibility. The power always comes from the people for every form of government, even a monarchy or a dictatorship. The power comes from the people. So imagine that where we are as a country right now is the United States has two choices. It looks like either Trump, who's gone down into the power games of insurrection and ignoring the voice of the people completely, because which is weird, because let's say we've come to the pendulum has swung out. We've come to the end of the cycle of the United States. They're talking about the end of our democracy. When you reach the end of the cycle, basically what's happened is the pendulum has swung, but then there's a flip-flop idea. There's always, and it seems so frustrating because it's like this optical illusion idea. People get so frustrated at this point in time. It feels like it's the end and people are angry and, what have you done to destroy everything? So what we have right now is Donald Trump is going down into the power games. He's causing riots, he's breaking the law, he's doing things. And yet there's this flip-flop idea. But then there's Joe Biden, and what is he going to do? Is he going to support the idea for the international government? Because it came out under Obama, and he was Obama's vice president. So is he going to support it, or is he going to go straight ahead and lead to down? Now the question has to do with that. Now I'm going to say that there's the most likely chance is he's going to go like this, because he has to create when he comes up with a plan, even with all the Democrats, there's so much division going on there. He can't heal what's happening. So it has to be something that is outside the government, and that is the will of the people. We've turned our lives over to the government, just like if you're a cancer patient, or how about a COVID-19 patient, you turn your life over to the doctors. How about being on Social Security and you find out that Social Security isn't enough to keep you going? You're always basically hoping that there's going to be some sort of a benefit that trickles down from the government to you. It doesn't work. You have to assume responsibility for your own life, because doctors can't help you, governments can't help you, Social Security can't help you. You're basically responsible when you've turned your life over to anybody else. You have to, at some point in time, realize that person can't help you get your life, or that institution can't help you get your life, and then you have to take it back on your shoulders. Now, think about Trump and his supporters. Make America great again. I'm rich. I'm going to help you. I'm going to trickle down this stuff. We're going to give tax breaks to the wealthy people, but you're going to get it too. And basically, it never ever comes down. The wealth just keeps shifting to the wealthier, and the poor get poorer. Okay, So we have to be responsible. Each of us has to be responsible for our own lives. One of our unalienable rights is to have a voice in our government. So now, when we stand up and protest that, nothing is working, where the trickle-down idea isn't working, and we take back responsibility, what are we going to say? How are we going to go? Are we going to topple the government? That's not. And what are you going to do? Put somebody else in it, like the guy with the horns on his head? No. How about put Donald Trump back in? He had 4 years. They said, well, people are saying, well, the Democrats are trying to overturn the 2016 election. That doesn't make sense. He had 4 years. He had his time in office. Just like any other president, he had 4 years. And what did he do in the 4 years? Okay, honestly, what did he do to benefit anybody in the 4 years? So we have to take back our own power. The real revolution is within ourselves. Okay, we have to reach the point where we're willing to go make it happen in our own lives. Make America great again? America has always been great, but it's God that's great, not America. Let's say America is pretty darn good. And I like it well enough to be able to introduce this idea of a U.S. Constitution on the international level, because I believe that the next step is that this is not the end of the democracy, it's the end of the cycle, and we're taking it to the next level. So, that every person on the planet reaches the point where you have to, if you've turned your life over to the doctor, you're a COVID patient and you're on a ventilator, at some point in time you have to realize the doctor can't help you. You're going to have to take back responsibility for your own life. People die when they believe they can't get their life. And the reason it is because the doctors can't help me. Social Security can't help me. What do is you have to go back and to assume responsibility for your own life. And that's where God comes in. Because God gave every person on the planet the equality, the liberty, and the opportunity to get their life. But it's basically fulfilling your purpose in life, and the government can't do that for you. The government can't help you get your life. Doctors can't help you get your life. They can only, if you have cancer, they can only give you chemotherapy or whatever. They can't help you. They can set a broken arm. They can do something like that, but they can't help you. You have to assume responsibility for your own life. And this is where the revolution comes in. Spiritual people for a long time, not religious people, spiritual people, the people who understand are looking at the overview principles of religion and applying that in their own lives. All the body of information that comes from the books, spiritual books, and I've got boxes of them in my storage unit here. The whole body of information to this point has been that you create your own reality. By what you believe, you create your own reality. If you believe that you are going to stand up and defend your country, you might end up on the battlefield. That is what you believe. And then the fears and the choices that you make at that point decide whether you're going to go forward on the battlefield or you're going to run. You're going to go backwards or you're going to stay right where you are. You see, that's the way it is. It's what you believe is what is. But then what you have to do things like that, to create your life, you have to change what you believe. And the more resistant you are to change, the less likely it's going to be that you're going to make changes, that you're going to be forced to make changes. Okay, if people don't stand up to defend the environment and all of these problems like the carbon dioxide in the air and things like that, all of these things, the hot spots out in the ocean. And I live next to the ocean, just right over here, a couple of blocks, there's the ocean with hot spots. So if we can't do something like that, if we aren't willing to make the changes to do that, then what will happen is eventually we'll reach the point where we're going to be walking north to avoid all the heat, and some people are going to be heading south. We don't need to do that. We don't need to move to Canada and to Alaska just to survive. So what we have to do is we have to start making the changes in our own life. This is the revolution that is happening. It's not overturning the election and putting Donald Trump back in office so he can be in it for the 5 more terms that he has decided he really deserves. Does he deserve 5 more terms if he couldn't figure out how to stay and get the popular vote and the electoral college votes for after the first 4? No, he doesn't. So, take back your own power. Not to go into Washington and protest and overturn the government, and we don't need insurrection. We need people to take back their power, to assume responsibility for creating their own lives. I am on Social Security, and I was homeless for a long time. I'm on Social Security, and it was a step up, but it's not enough to keep me going. So basically what I'm doing is I'm a channel, I'm a psychic. My books are channeled messages from God on how to overcome any crisis. So as I apply this information in my own life, this spiritual information, it allows me to create the life I've always wanted. I was a dental hygienist for many years. And basically, I got tired of sitting there saying the same things over and over again. And now I'm willing to work. I like working one-on-one with people. It's not easy for me to get out and speak. So now I'm getting out and I'm making the changes in my own life that allow me to assume responsibility for my own life. And you can do the same thing. So that's all I wanted to say. Be the revolution inside of yourself. Create the life you've always wanted because God gave you your unalienable rights, the 3 unalienable rights that you have. That means they come from God. They're the contract that you have with God to fulfill your purpose in life. They are to be able to create the life you want without interference, to be treated fairly and equally, and to have a voice in your government. That's it. Those are the rights that you have from God. You also have your constitutional rights that your government gives to you, and then whatever country you're in, and then you have to follow that application in your own life. So go ahead and do that. Be the revolution. The World Peace Movement has started, and that is we take back our own power. And when we start to make changes in our own life, then we can share those changes with other people. There's a bunch of rules that you have to follow, though. And that's the whole idea now, is the rules. The first rule, are you willing to stand on the principles of universal law? Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. So if you topple the government, like the United States did in Iraq and lots of other countries, you will be toppled. The power games continue until an innocent person is crucified or sacrificed. So imagine, but when no weapons of mass destruction were found in Iraq, it toppled our power base. We never, as a country, resolved that issue. We attacked an innocent country, a sovereign country. And so our government, basically, we've turned our lives over to people who don't know how to solve problems and who are basically playing power games. So Joe Biden, if you don't like the idea of Joe Biden being president, then start having a voice in your government, but do it the way that you come up with a plan that benefits everyone. Assume responsibility for your life, and that allows you to have a voice in other people's lives. Okay? It's like, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Stand on the principles of universal law. Okay, then you have God on your side to help you do it. Because God doesn't work with anyone who doesn't stand on the principles of universal law. I ask that you like, share, and subscribe, and pass this information on. Share it with other people, because it isn't doing anybody any good to just not share it. Okay? So thanks. Have a good day.